son Tokimune. Following Tokimune's death in 1993, Katsuyuki Kondo, the only person holding a Menkyo Kaiden in Daito-ryu, took over as director of the Daito-ryu headquarters and is making strenuous efforts to disseminate the mainstream form of the art. The basic principles of Daito-ryu Aikijujutsu include Re, Metsuke, Mawai, Kokyu, Kuzushi, Zanshin, and Kiai. I would like to explain these principles in order. I think that by practicing repeatedly and learning and applying these basics, you will be able to perfect your technique. I will now explain the term Re. In the old days, words such as bure, that is disrespectful, and shitsure, or inexcusable behavior, were used. One who lacked Re, that is, one who was disrespectful, would be risking his own life. For example, in the old days, one was sure to put his sword on his right side when he was invited to enter a room and sit down. If he put his sword on his left side, he could draw it at any time. Therefore, it was disrespectful for one to put his sword on his left side. That meant being shitsure, or engaging in impolite behavior. With your sword on your left, you can draw it at any time, and this shows you have an intention to fight the other person. I have heard that once someone was attacked and cut and died because his sword was on his left side and he happened to touch it by mistake. Therefore, this kind of disrespectful behavior could endanger one's life. Now I will explain the concept of metsuke. The characters mean where to fix one's eyes. I think this includes all things such as the power of piercing eyes, which controls others, insight, and the capacity to read another's mind. The power of the eyes. The best way is to control others without fighting. We should practice with this principle in mind. Originally, I think metsuke is a kind of practice where you read, predict, and discern another's movements through the fixation of the eyes. Naturally, I think in this kind of training, various things such as kokyu-ho are included to achieve this end. The next concept is mawai, or combative distance. In old Japan, firearms were not used, but the bow was. Thus, there was the mai appropriate for the arrow, and then there was the mawai for spears, swords, and finally the shortest mawai or distance for jujutsu. The question of increasing the space between you and your opponent and how to reduce the distance constitutes a very important matter in the martial arts. How to assume mawai, how to shorten it, how to increase it. Oftentimes, when you think you have the proper distance, it really is appropriate to your opponent. Please keep this uppermost in your mind when practicing. Now I will explain the concept of kokyu. Kokyu consists of two characters meaning breathe out and breathe in, kokyu. So breathing out is very important. So breathing in is training for breathing out. We cannot live without breathing in, so breathing in is done naturally. Therefore, it is important how to expel air from our body. Also, we teach with respect to kokyu that breathing out is yo, or yang, and breathing in is yin, or yin. For example, when we visit Shinto shrines and Buddhist temples, we see the two Deva kings on either side of the temple gate. If we look at their mouths, one has a wide open mouth and the other a tightly closed mouth. And in Shinto shrines, there are stone guardian dogs at the entrance with open and closed mouths. It is said that they represent the Aum utterance. The open mouth is ah, and the closed mouth is The utterance is certainly a yang expression. When we exert an effort, we indeed emit a ki, or in order to exert all of our strength, we close our mouth and produce the sound and hold our breath. This is yang. When we breathe in, it is yin. If we practice breathing sufficiently, we will be able to perceive and read an opponent's movements. Studies on Kokyu-ho include the Kokyu-ho of Buddha and a work by Hakuin dating from the mid-Edo era. Kokyu-ho has been an object of study in modern times as a method of health. Proper breathing is a very important principle of martial arts. The next principle is kuzushi, or balance breaking. This includes atemi and other things such as ki-ai are naturally a part of the concept. Kuzushi in Daito-ryu includes the idea of aiki, that is, how to emit aiki energy and break the opponent's balance. You should place great emphasis on practicing this principle. The last concept is zanshin. The characters used mean to remain with the mind, or I have also heard it referred to as remain with the body. However, I would not say remain with the mind, but give out all of oneself, to engage all of one's strength and spirit by facing and responding to the situation at every moment. I understand the term to mean giving all of oneself until there is nothing more to give, zanshin. I mentioned ki-ai in the beginning, and now I have included it as part of kuzushi. To summarize, the 6 basic principles are rei, metsuke, mawai, kokyu, kuzushi, and zanshin. As I said in the beginning, I would like to demonstrate how to apply these basic principles in the techniques and how to master them. The 118 techniques of the Daito-ryu Aikijujutsu Hiden Mokuroku are divided roughly into 5 parts. Here I will explain the first series of techniques. Ikkajo consists of 10 idori or seated techniques, 5 hanza handachi, 10 tachiai or standing movements, and 5 ushiro dori. Originally, in Daito-ryu, we started with the practice of the idori or seated techniques. But times have changed now, and I think it would be quite difficult if we started with idori seated techniques. Therefore, I would like to start by explaining tachiai or standing techniques.